Breaking news, Iran's top diplomat says he will travel to Moscow today to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The meeting is in response to the United States strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, which we will hear about momentarily. Take a look at the area circled here on this New York Times release photo where it shows the trail of the bullet after it pierces former President Donald Trump in the ear. You might want to be careful where you send your food delivery driver. Make sure that pin is exactly right, because one DoorDash driver got lost and accidentally drove onto the Chicago O'Hare International Airport tarmac. Look at your screen here. A 36-year-old man mistakenly drove past a gate and headed into a restricted area. You see his car right there. He ended up parked next to a grounded plane on the tarmac. Chicago aviation officials say the May incident didn't cause any disruptions to operations, and officials at DoorDash say it appears the driver simply got lost while making the delivery. I'll ask that question to Mayor Kevin Anderson, who we just ran into when we were waiting to come on live. Now, Mayor Anderson, first off, you're taking a look at the damage here in downtown Fort Myers. What's your kind of early assessment?
So I'll put it this way. As one of the business owners said to me this morning, the word of the day is thankful.
Carver and her wife rode out Hurricane Ian inside this house. She said it was one of the hardest things they had to do. Take a look at the videos from that day. You can see all the water and their belongings just floating. She told Wink they had to swim out of there before things got worse. But the storm was only the beginning of the problem. Thinking of running your own chicken coop to cope with the rising prices? Well, that's going to cost you a lot of bucks. As you can see here, $400, $400, $500, and even $1,300 just to buy the coop. The Secretary Hexet said public and private message to the Iranians have to come to the table, that they understand what the U.S. position is for peace, that they hope they do so. The feeling around here as that investigation was unfolding was people were scared, people were curious, wondering what exactly prompted that massive scene that took over the entire Bell Tower shops for most of the afternoon. You heard that right. $9 billion over the next 4 years. As you can imagine, customers we spoke with are still having a tough time processing the price hike. Keep in mind, the price hike is not official yet. The next step in this process is a technical hearing where commissioners from the Florida Public Service Commission will act as judges and hear testimony from witnesses. That hearing is scheduled to begin on August 11th. Costco says they will not build the store if gas pumps are included. County rules require at least 500 feet between the gas stations, but according to this map behind me, the Costco is only 130 feet away from the 7-Eleven. County staff is working with the store to see when they will return for a review with county commissioners. A correction in the market after high prices makes sense when you look at the data from the Florida Gulf Coast listings. It shows the median sale price at $371,000, nearly the same as it was in late 2021. With the median price staying relatively steady and strong buyer activity, you can also see inventory is in a surplus, up from 773 to over 3,000. With the current setup, the states do have most of the power. The governors have the ability to declare state of emergencies and deploy the National Guard. The federal government steps in only when the state makes a formal request. But to tackle these huge natural disasters, it's meant to be a joint effort.
I put it in a month ago. It's all out in the street now.
William Rogers has gone through this too many times, cleaning out the damage of his Island Park home. He did it after Ian.
And the whole house had 8 feet of water in it during Hurricane Ian. So we lost everything. It was just a shell of a house. My whole road is underwater.
Then again for Helene. And now, after Milton.
I've always lived in a house that's perfectly clean and neat and put together and nothing ever happens in it like what's happening here in this house. So I've been living like a homeless person for 2 years.
As Milton sent water rushing into his home, William hoped to save his home.
Gone. The whole Gulf of Mexico's in my house.
That's William, calling into our continuous coverage Wednesday night.
It's up to my ankles, but I'm elevated.
As soon as I lifted my foot to gauge how high it was.
I just got electrocuted.
As the call went on, it became clear that William needed to get himself, his wife, and his dog out of the house.
It might be time to go and check the house later when the water goes down.
We're going to let you go now so you can get on the phone and call for help.
Oh, yeah.
But there was no need to.
The USAR team was watching Wink News, and they were informed via your newscast that the subject needed assistance.
Using their high water vehicle, San Carlos Park firefighters and USAR made their way to Williams' home. John Milsetich was one of those who responded to that call.
The road was completely underwater, so we basically used the mailboxes and the power poles as our guidelines for making it to the street we needed to go to. From there, we backed up to the residence, the front window, where the subject was signaling us with a flashlight.
Then they got William, his wife, and his dog Jules out through the window.
I'm glad that Wink News called up and made me get out of the house, because I probably wouldn't have called them after we got offline.
William is safe, but his house needs to be fixed once again. Zach Oliveri, Wink News. FGCU athletics have been a constant on the national stage in recent years, especially in sports like women's basketball and volleyball, who are fixtures in their sports postseasons. But when it comes to Division I college athletics, the only constant is change. One of the most significant changes comes from the House v. NCAA settlement.
It's going to create a new dynamic for college athletics. It's going to create a new dynamic for Division I.
The settlement got preliminary approval last week. If finalized, the settlement forces the major conferences to pay $2.78 billion in damages to current and former student athletes and set up a revenue-sharing system that allows schools to distribute more than $20 million to student athletes starting next year. Is this an opportunity where the rich are just going to keep getting richer in college athletics with the settlement?
It could. It could. I think it's going to be really interesting when you look at college athletics at the highest level, right? When you talk about the Power Four conferences, the interesting dynamic for them when you talk about revenue sharing, when you talk about the house settlement payments, things of that nature, they're potentially staring down $20 to $30 million a year that they're going to have to generate. So the rich are definitely going to have an opportunity, right? The Power Four are definitely going to have an opportunity to generate and do more, but it's also going to cost them much more to operate at that highest level.
Colin Hargis is the athletic director at FGCU. Even though his department is not in a Power Four conference, they are still included in this settlement. Division I schools that don't have football will pay 12% of the damages.
The initial estimates that we've had from an ASUN perspective have been just shy of $300,000 a year. And again, those were the initial.
For how long?
For 10 years.
That's an estimated total of $3 million. How does that factor into the athletic budget for FGCU?
Yeah, we have to plan for it, and it's unfortunate. In a perfect world, we wouldn't be part of that, right? We wouldn't have to pay the debt of others, essentially. But on the other side of that, if and when the settlement goes through, what we look at holistically, right, in conversations with my peers and conversations with the conference office, the settlement will provide stability, a little bit of stability for us on a national landscape, right, from an FGCU Division I athletic department perspective. It can provide us a little bit of stability for the next decade.